Welcome to the Dollars and Cents Podcast with Wes the Economist and Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist, coming to you live from the Wave Beach Realty Studios in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Call us today at 843-957-3872.
All right, guys, welcome back into the Dollars and Cents Podcast with Wes the Economist. I am Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist. Wes, what season and episode are we on?
We just said, and I can't remember because that quickly. Season 3, episode 5.
That sounds right. Yeah, I know
Right.
my short-term memory is not. I think because of the crazy week I've had, it's just I'm all over the place right now.
That and
reeling it back in.
We just did a quick clip on how we hate daylight savings time, so it has something to do with it too.
Yeah, it's got me all
messed
up this morning. Yeah, that and my allergies have me a little messed up this morning. I know when daylight saving time hits, it's officially allergy season too.
And won't be long in South Carolina. We have a completely green snow falling everywhere.
Oh, it's the worst. Talk about me. I'll literally be dying for 2 weeks.
Because I'm in sunny South Florida for my spring break.
Looks great.
Yeah, it does.
Which the weather's been good here lately too. I must say that it's been beautiful here.
Yeah, as soon as we leave, it gets nice there. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, I know. That's how it goes. Well, listen, you're in Florida. You're fine. It's great. It's great.
We got a pretty heavy podcast today because we've got the start of a war, or is it a continuation of a war? Let's start there. What are we doing? Did we start a new war with Iran, or are we finishing a 47-year war that's been going on? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we've hopped back into a 47-year war. I think, for once, the president has made it clear what the end goal is for the most part. But again, we always veer off from what we're supposed to be doing, and then we end up somewhere for 3 years and off the rails. So hopefully that doesn't happen here. But yeah, we're definitely just continuing a war. I mean, now I'm not against getting these people out of power. They're clearly run by a terrorist group that they need to be taken out completely. I mean, I don't know how they keep coming back the way they do. Did I want to be in this conflict right now? No. Are they saying it's necessary? Do I necessarily believe it? I don't know. Maybe it was time to stop them. Maybe they really are trying to get all these nukes and all these weapons. It seems like we're obliterating them pretty quickly. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm torn two ways on this.
Well, I definitely think that they were after a nuclear weapon. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. I mean, did you hear the last deal we offered them? With uranium, we were basically going to give them domestic enriched uranium, stuff they could use for nuclear power plants for power for the country. And we will give them a endless supply out of our stocks, as long as they did not enrich any more for nuclear grade weapons. And they turned that down.
Yeah, which is, that tells its own story right there.
It does. And then you look at, what they did as soon as it started. Just almost immediately indiscriminate. They just started bombing all their neighbors.
That was crazy.
I know I don't know enough about the sects of Muslims, the Shiites versus the, as soon as I said it, it went out of my head, Sunnis. I don't understand which. I know one runs Iran, the other sect is in charge of Saudi Arabia, and inside the Muslim faith, they don't like each other.
Yeah,
if that had something to do with it, or were they out of control because all their leaders were gone? Let's face it, they had the top 40 leaders in one place, and we took them all out at once. And then they met to elect a new one with the leaders that were left, and we took them off the face of the earth. So we have caused chaos over there.
Yeah, I think the reason they were bombing the neighbors, from a CIA guy that was talking on a podcast, Mike Baker. He said that what they probably started bombing all the neighbors for was maybe those countries would put pressure on the United States to stop attacking Iran if they were attacking random countries around them. That didn't work. That backfired on them. But
it took Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia had said we couldn't use their bases or whatever or fly over their airspace.
Yeah,
and when that happened, okay, yep, you have it.
Yeah, so Iran thought that would continue to happen, like everybody telling us no, but that backfired. yeah, so they're all on board now. Even I think who was it that said they would maybe send some warships now, and President Trump was like, "No, we don't." I think it was one of the European
The UK.
countries said they would help us.
Well, you know the UK. Oh, gracious. Okay. Well, let's finish talking about the war, and then we'll talk about the chess game, the 3D chess that's going on. I mean, it's unbelievable when you start putting the pieces together what's actually happening with all this. But I think the UK would not let us use their bases for refueling or something like that. And now they're kind of jumping in a little bit of support. But is that the ones you think you were talking about when
I
they?
think so. Yeah, it was something they were like totally against it, and then and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, we'll send you some warships if you need it." It's like, oh, now that we're winning and progressing,
Yeah.
you want to throw in on the and look like some good guys now? Because I'm pretty sure Trump told them no, like we don't want your help, and we'll just remember this.
Yeah, UK is not the same country as our ally was 15, 20 years ago. I mean, they've been taken
Right.
over by mass migration. I mean, you got foreigners running their cities, kind of like we do,
Yeah.
like New York City. Even though Madami was born here, I think, but his philosophy is definitely not American, and that's going on in the UK. It's going across Europe, and that probably led us into the conversation about what's going on with the Shield of the Americas, and what's happened here in the last few days with that. But the war itself, I mean, it's going great. I don't understand what Trump's doing unless he's just making sure he doesn't telegraph anything, because he initially said it was going to be, very quickly. And then he said 4 weeks, and he said 6 weeks, and he said, no, it may take longer. And then now he's come back and said, no, it's not going to take that long. I don't know you mentioned as we went in that we have clear objectives. I don't know if I know what those are. Have you heard on podcasts or something what the objectives are?
I mean, I think he really just wants to, as far as I can tell, his objective is to just completely annihilate this entire regime and just be done with it, and then let Iran figure it out from there. Like you guys,
That's kind of what I thought.
yeah. I mean, now how quickly that actually really happens, and if more people don't just step in and keep it a state of
Yeah.
terrorism, I don't know. But I know the Kurds were originally going to come in and fight. I think that's been shot down now. I don't know that that's going to actually happen. I mean, I've got some updates here. It says, as of 36 minutes ago, Iran says it's close to naming a new supreme leader.
I
How
don't think
many
I want to be
supreme
that
leaders
guy.
are they going to go through?
I don't think I really want to be that guy.
No, I was ready to say, don't nominate me.
Target on your back.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to be a supreme leader in Iran right now. Yeah, so I mean, there's updates coming out constantly right now, but
I mean, I know we really probably couldn't have gone in sooner because of all the issues with our where our political system is and everything. I mean, the killing of the killing of the 10,000 citizens, or was it 30,000? I actually heard a lady, and I haven't called her name yet. I see her all over social media in interviews, but she's Iranian, and she's just giving the side of the Iranian people how happy they are. And she said it was 45,000 that were killed by this regime in January and February before we went in. But I just think back about how, if it's 20, this is called in the middle of 20,000, how big a difference could those 20,000 have made if they were still alive in the middle of all this? And
right,
keep trying. But at the same time, if we'd gone in before they killed the 20,000, I don't think we'd have any support from anywhere except
right,
Israel. Um,
yeah,
and it's not like we have countries bending over backwards to give us support, but they're not stupid enough to say, "Oh, you leave these people alone." They're not as stupid as our protesters in the street here saying, "Leave that regime alone."
When life gets unpredictable, turn to a partner you can trust. At Bobby Clary State Farm, we've got you covered. Whether it's home, auto, or life insurance, we're dedicated to providing personalized coverage that fits your needs. With our friendly and knowledgeable team, navigating your insurance options have never been easier. Visit bobbyclary.com or call 843-438-6000. Bobby Clary State Farm, here to help life go right.
All right. Well, now it's officially time to introduce my book, Econ Sense: Economics for Everyday Living. You can actually find it by going to my website, econsense.us. If you go there, you'll see there are links to Amazon where you can pick it up, just a paperback, or if you'd rather have the ebook, you can go to Innovative Ink Publishing and care of Kendall Hunt Publishing Company, where you can get the print or ebook. And while you're on that website, you can also check out my other podcast, Econ Sense. Which I have several different series that go by. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Email me at west.the.economist@gmail.com, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Right. I thought Russia would be a little bit more against. I mean, I know they spoke out against it, but I thought they'd be helping Iran with this. I guess they just got so much going on with Ukraine. They're just like, oh, we're just going to sit this one out.
Well, I don't really think they're sitting it out. I mean, I think they're giving them intel and they're giving them other stuff behind the
Probably.
scenes. But you're right that they don't want to step up and put their head on the block. And that kind of leads us into the chess game that's going on. Let's start with the UK. I first heard this about 3 days ago from this lady from this institute. She's really intelligent, and they're right on top of all this stuff. And she was talking about, people, you haven't really realized what's going on here. And she broke it down. It was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. And now I'm hearing it everywhere. Now that they broke it, everybody's talking about this same thing. You probably heard it, in that the way that Trump has pretty much taken the final imperial power away from the UK, and that was maritime assets. They had the main companies that were insuring tankers across the globe, and anytime this stuff breaks out, they pull out and say, we're not going to insure you anymore, and therefore the tankers won't take the chance of bringing the petroleum out, because if something happens, they're not insured. And Trump steps in and says, oh, we're going to back those policies, let's get them going again, and we're going to make sure not only are we going to back the policies, we're going to make sure those tankers can get through the Straits of Hormuz.
Right.
And he literally, with that, just that one little thing, has taken away so much power from the UK and their markets. I mean, it literally just neutered them. I mean, it's something else. And so he's taken that. And then as you put the pieces together, and a lot of people believe this, that this is not about Iran. Yes, we want Iran out of play. We want to make sure they'll get nuclear weapons. That's all good. But that's a secondary piece of the puzzle. And the first piece is China.
Yeah.
Because we literally have cut off, I think I read somewhere between 40 and 50% of their petroleum imports between Venezuela and now Iran.
Oh, wow.
And they are hurting so bad, they've stopped refinery of certain fuels. They are cutting back on usage. This affects them with the flyovers they've been doing in Taiwan, trying to intimidate Taiwan. It's affecting their military. I mean, they literally are getting pushed into a corner, which scares me because, you push somebody like China into a corner, they need to come out fighting. But if they don't have the fuel to fight, the military is useless.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, what are you going to do without that? You're not flying electric F-18s around.
Exactly. So
Elon will have them in a couple of years, but that's not where we're at.
And so you see what he's doing with that, cutting China off. At the same time, obviously, he cut them out of Venezuela. And she started his whole administration a year ago by making sure they did not have any more issues or any more control at the Panama Canal. I mean, he is literally just putting another superpower back in the bottle, and nobody seems to understand it. Everybody lives on these sound bites and these 30-second clips, and nobody's looking at the big picture about how he is making the United States safer. But to get there, we have to go through some issues, and one of them is we'll talk about this in a few minutes, but the terrorism that's going on in our country that I think the media is trying their best not to highlight, which I don't understand. I don't understand the media in the first place, though. But that's a whole nother episode for us.
Yeah.
So all that's going on, and then all of a sudden, Gnomes does some stupid stuff as Department of Homeland Security Director, whatever she was. Bad interviews before Congress, and now she's out, supposedly, and they're all saying that she's fired. But she's been moved to this new Shield of Americas, which to me looks like a NATO for the Western Hemisphere.
I was trying to figure out what it was.
It's some kind of, it's basically wanting to keep any of the influences from the Eastern Hemisphere, like China, like Russia, any of the players out of Iran, obviously, out of the Western Hemisphere. And it's trying to consolidate the Americas together to be one kind of economic powerhouse, and then also security for the South American countries, probably again by us. It's almost like we're shifting our attention from Europe to the North and South American continents.
Huh. Okay. A lot going on behind the scenes.
Because Europe is I mean, let's face it, it's toast. And he
Yeah.
announced a lot of this, but with that said, he announced a lot of this with Germany sitting in his office. And it seems like our relationship with Germany has gotten a lot better, and they're starting to turn away from what they've been, the path they've been going down. But I just wonder if it's too late for them.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, it's interesting. The whole thing, everything that's going on with Europe has just been amazing to me to just watch it kind of deteriorate at such a rapid pace. But is that just because, like you were talking about earlier, like a lot of that's from like all the mass migration and all the things going around with the politics over there? Yeah, that's what's kind of
I
crumbling
think
it.
so. I mean,
Yeah.
that's my opinion. I mean, I can go through the timeline about when they started letting all these people in. I mean, I remember the 2000 was about 10 years ago, wasn't it? When mass migration from all the conflicts in the Middle East, they started going, and the European Union just said, "Come on in." They didn't vet anybody, and that you see pictures at the borders of the border countries of the European Union, and it was all military age young men, very few women, very few children, very few older men. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. If we're taking refugees, wouldn't that be everybody? Why are these young men coming? And then you
Right.
started hearing stories about. I mean, the first story I heard was on New Year's Eve in Germany, and the rape gangs. Muslim men were going around raping women because that was something you did on New Year's Eve in the Middle East. It was acceptable. It was legal, and it was trying to be covered up by Merkel and all of them. And then the migration kept going. And I heard it from Spain. I heard it in other countries, and now it's in the UK. I mean, now that those rape gangs are in the news in the UK, but in the UK you can't talk out because you get put in jail for a Facebook post.
Right.
So I mean, it's been a 10, 12 year process that Europe has fallen. And if you know anything about the history of Christianity and Muslims fighting, there was several fights in the 1200, 800 AD, 1200 AD, those time periods. If I'm wrong on my dates, I know, but you can go back and you can look at all the times the Muslims tried to invade Europe and they were put down. And if you just a little bit of trivia that most people don't know, um, the last great battle from that time period happened, and I can't remember the year, but they were turned away on September 11th in that
Mm.
year. Everybody thinks that Obama maybe Osama attacked the towers because it was 9/11 emergency or emergency number. No, it was 9/11 because that was the last time they got turned away out of Europe.
I
September
gotcha.
11th, and I wished I could remember the date, but
Yeah.
um, and so that there was other dates that fell in with 9/11 through that timeline. But now they literally almost taken over Europe just by migration. Peaceful, it's peaceful in nature, I guess, not a war, not peaceful when they got in, obviously. But then
Right.
you have the same thing going on here. I mean, Texas is trying its best to make sure Sharia law doesn't get a foothold like it has in Michigan. And again, the media keeps quiet about what's going on here as far as Muslims infiltrating all of our levels of government or society. We got to be careful, or we're going to be Europe.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't. They've taken enough of our freedoms. I can't. I don't want to be like Europe.
Yeah,
Oh man. So going back to Iran, so where are you on like, I know when we first started the podcast, I kind of talked about how I felt about it and what side I was on and how I felt about, and then we kind of went into discussing what's going on. What is your take on like how do you feel about what's going on, when it started, why it started, and like what is your or like are you pro this conflict, against it, or in the middle? How do you feel?
I guess can't believe I'm saying this, but I kind of like. I guess I'm in the same position as Bill Maher is. I don't know if you heard his take on it last
Bill
night, night
Maher has
before
been
last.
saying a lot of, you can hate Bill Maher because of his takes on religion. You can hate Bill Maher because he's can be a little arrogant sometimes and says a lot of things that would make a lot of people mad. But I gotta give him props. I listen to a lot of his takes on some of this stuff because I know he tends to just go down the middle of what he actually believes, and he doesn't matter if he pisses off his party. So I got to
That's
give
what
him
he
credit
did
where credit's due.
last night and night before last. Whenever his show airs, I don't follow him, but I saw the clip today. He's like, "Well, I'll tell you what's going on in Iran. I'm not against it, and
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I know my fans are very much against it, but Now, as soon as we put boots on the ground, then I'm against it. But if we're going to stand back and bomb them into Kingdom Come or whatever you said, I'm okay with that because of what
Yeah.
they did to people and what they do to people and what they've been doing for the last 47 years, I'm okay with it. And that's where I'm at. If we want to take out regime, I mean, everybody wants to say, well, that's mean to go in and take out a government and just leave. Well, I'm sorry, we're not in charge of making people do what they're supposed to do. But if your country is trying to hurt us by your regime, then your regime's going to go and you find another one. Hopefully you'll find the right one this time. If not, we'll come back and do it again. I mean,
Right.
I hate to be that way, but that's life.
Thanks for listening to the Dollars and Cents Podcast with Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist and Wes the Economist. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and X at DollarsCentsGS and on Facebook at Dollars and Cents. Are you looking to buy a home in North or South Carolina? You need to reach out to Wave Beach Realty today. We are a family-owned company with over 10 years of experience in North and South Carolina and operate along the Grand Strand. Give us a call today at 843-957-3872. That's 843-957-3872.
So I'm okay with it as long as we don't put boots on the ground. But again, I think our media is just looking for everything. I saw a post yesterday from, I don't know if it was the New York Post the Washington Post and New York Times, or one of those left leaning medias that's saying that now Trump is thinking about putting a small contingency of troops on the ground. And then I read the article and it literally came out of a meeting that wasn't supposed to come out. It's just him talking to his advisors, it seems like. And they said that, well, what if we just put a small contingent to do X, Y, and Z? He's like, well, I'm up to talking about that, and just kind of left it. He didn't say he was going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do we need to send the SEALs in to take out one guy? I'm sure he'd be okay with that. Or
Right.
send in the Rangers or whatever to do one thing and come out. But he wasn't talking about putting boots on the ground. But the headline was like, oh, okay, so he's changing his mind again. So
Yeah.
I don't think Trump will send in ground troops. Of course, I also said I don't think he'd go into Venezuela, and he did. But I also, when I said that, I was saying putting a bunch of boots on the ground and invading the country. I didn't think he was going to do that, and he didn't. He went in, so to speak, took out Maduro, and got back out and said, "Okay, go for it." And
Yeah.
if you see that this week, the new president, the vice president, took over, Maduro's vice president.
Yeah.
They say is as radical as Maduro, but she was up saying what, opening dialogues with Washington. Like,
Yeah.
we'll be talking with.
Yeah, you're not going to come surgically remove me out of a building. We'll talk.
So,
And then what's going on? I've been seeing some stuff about Cuba now too. What are we about to? We about to make it a 51st state?
I haven't seen. I mean, I've probably seen about what you've seen, but I've been kind of watching back on the side view. Down there, we've cut off their petroleum supply. They're completely out of oil now. They're out of money. I imagine they were trading services, military services, and all for petroleum in Venezuela or something. I'm sure they had some kind of deal, and so they're just kind of dying on the vine. The roots have been cut off, and they're just going to be gone. I don't think we got to do anything. I think
Yeah.
there's enough people still there who want the regime gone that it'll just go away. It'll quietly die. I don't. Again, I'm probably wrong, but I don't see any military conflict or a bunch of revolution or riots going on. I think it's just going to be like these old men are done, and let's just kick them out.
Yeah. That'd be nice. That'd be good for them.
I think
Save,
so.
yeah, save that country. I guess communism just doesn't always work, does it?
It never works. But we still have youth in our classes that think it does.
That's terrible.
I got a colleague who has a student in his class that says, well, the only reason Cuba's doing bad is because we've had a blockade on them or sanctions on them since 1950s or 60s or whatever. I'm like, dude, really? Get off the podcast. Stop thinking for yourself. I mean, it's like listening to Tucker Carlson. I don't know what happened to Tucker.
I can't listen to him anymore. He went off the rails.
He is him and Candace are just.
Over.
Somebody I was listening to somebody yesterday. They brought up the idea, the thing about the bubonic plague. I don't know if you heard these stories, but during that time, the Jews were being blamed for the plague, and the reason they were being blamed was because they were not getting sick. So they see the Jews aren't sick; they're causing it's all their fault. We need to kill them because it's all their fault. If we kill them, the plague will go away. Sounds stupid, right? It was
Yeah.
stupid because
Yeah.
Jews were not getting sick. It was kind of shown later because they have all these ritual cleanings during the day. If you're living as a Jew, you have all these ritual cleanings that you washing your hands and making sure you're clean, and that's why they weren't getting sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was all a Jewish plot conspiracy. I mean, this it goes on through history over and over and over again. And to see somebody who's I thought was intellectual, like Tucker Carlson, I thought Candace had some brains to her. But to see them fall for this stuff and then put all these innuendos together for these conspiracy theories, no offense, Jonathan, the conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. I'm not listening. They're going off the rails. I don't go that.
I just I don't get it. I don't see it.
No, I can't. I used to listen to Tucker's podcast a lot. I didn't listen to Candace a lot, but I would listen to her every now and then. I can't. Both of them now, they're just so far gone. I'm like, I don't know, man. They are. You guys are a little too. You guys are a little too off the tracks for me now.
Well, and on the flip side of that, I used to listen to Ben Shapiro a little bit. I could never, he talks too fast for me to listen to. Um, as I talk always too fast too. But I can't listen to him because he's so much the other way. Let's just get over it. Let's get back to where's Charlie? We need Charlie back.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
all
I
the
know.
conspiracy theories about Charlie. I mean, good gracious. There's so much stuff. Not only what Candace is saying about Erica, but just
It's wild.
the lack of information, the lack of critical thought is the issue.
Yeah, yeah. It's wild times we're in, man. I don't know. Every day, I'm like, I'd have to like slap myself to make sure I'm not dreaming with all the. And then you keep hearing now they're getting back to, I know we're getting off of Iran a little bit, but now like even the Epstein files, more stuff's coming out on that. And then they pulled a bunch of the documents down off of the DOJ took a lot of the documents down off the website, and then, now they're releasing stuff saying Trump assaulted young girl. I mean, they're coming out with all kinds of stuff now, and I
Why
don't
did
I
they
don't even
pull
know what to
down
believe.
documents?
Huh?
Why did they pull down documents?
I don't know. They pulled down. I don't know. There's some people were reporting that they were going on and they noticed that some of the documents had been taken down. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. And they're saying now the conspiracy now is that Trump started this war to take away from the Epstein files.
I
Yeah, it's
mean,
all
to me, the Epstein files are just like the JFK files. And that is nobody really wanted to know the answers, so no real investigation was done. And so you got a
right.
bunch of papers about a bunch of stuff that are not cohesive, and we'll probably never know everything that happened because it's lost.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
Pretty much.
but Hillary never met him, though we have pictures of her with him, and Clinton
Yeah.
didn't know what was going on, even though he flew to the island several times. But hey,
I don't even
some
know why
things
they
never
do.
change.
Yeah, I don't even know why they subpoenaed them and did that. Like, what information did you think you were going to get out of them?
I think they were hoping to get him in some kind of lie to put something over him, but they're so good at lying that
I was ready to say they're pros.
I remember Bill Clinton doing the investigation in the '90s. He goes, "I'm sorry, counselor. It depends on what your definition of is." What? It's like
Uh,
they kind of. I mean, they were the ones too that kind of started all this stuff with all the misinformation and junk.
oh yeah, oh yeah. They play a big part in that.
But it's going to be interesting, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about in the next few weeks because
Oh
it's
yeah, yeah. I'm sure
it's
it's going to keep escalating. He said that the biggest wave hasn't even come yet, or what he's going to hit him with. So I wonder when that
well,
happens, how much time we'll have to spend
we're
there.
recording on Sunday the 8th, so this is about a week old by the time you're watching this. But as we recorded this, so we hit like 48 targets last night. This morning, the 8th, and Iran, the 7th, our time last night. So I want that had something to do with it. I saw one explosion last night, and my brother-in-law, he says he thinks it was a fuel depot, and that makes sense because it was a huge explosion up
Yeah,
middle of somewhere in Iran. So I don't think this. I mean, I don't really think Iran was as strong as they made themselves out to be to begin with. I mean, they had a lot of control and they had a lot of intimidation across the region in the Middle East, which we didn't even get into Middle East on this and the impact this is going to have after. And if you followed anything about the Middle East, you know that all these countries are kind of drawn wrong anyway. When the after World War I, when they divided this whole area up, and the UK had a lot to do with that, trying to make certain plays. We basically put people together in the same countries that hated each other's guts, and that's one of the reasons we've had all these violence. And so I'm curious how this, if Iran does fall and regime does change, how it affects the whole Middle East and all the skirmishes that go on.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, it's this is how this plays out. If with Iran, it's gonna be big. I mean, it's I don't know where we're gonna land with this, but hopefully it's on the right side. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of implications here. It's affecting a lot of countries. It's definitely interesting to watch, if nothing else. And like you said, in the next coming weeks, who knows what we're going to be talking about with this.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll end this one out. I'm sure we'll be talking about a lot more going forward. I know you've got some more biblical questions coming up for one of our next podcasts.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll be tying some of that into what's going on, because I'm sure every pastor in the pulpits these Sundays are preaching about end times again.
Probably.
It always happens when the Middle East uproar happens.
Yep.
So we got have a lot to talk about coming in these next few weeks, but maybe we can find some topics outside of some of this too.
Maybe. Yeah, that'd be nice.
All right. We'll catch y'all next time.
See you next time, guys.
Oh, before we go though, one quick thing before we go. You've already seen the advertisement in this podcast. Jonathan doesn't know that. My book is out, and I have a website up, econsense.us. Econsense.us. You can access the book and all the podcasts that go along with it. Companions to this dollars and cents. It's a lot more just straight economics and not so much venting about how bad things are in Washington.
Right.
Well, I do have a series on government intervention, so mostly.
Yeah.
All right, we'll catch y'all next time.
All right, guys.
Mortgage payment, insurance payments, credit card payments, they can be very overwhelming. Are you ready to take the time to get things under control? Then reach out to me at Clark Financial Coaching to see if we can get you started with a budget and then a vision for the future. Write me at coachwesc@gmail.com. That's coachwesc@gmail.com.
Looking to buy a property in North or South Carolina and need financing assistance? Give Motto Mortgage Coastal Pros a call today. We specialize in residential loans in both North and South Carolina and can meet all your residential home loan needs. Give us a call today at 843-957-3872. That's 843-957-3872. Thanks for listening to the Dollars and Cents Podcast with Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist and Wes the Economist. Don't forget to send us your topics and give us feedback at dollarscentsgs@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram and X at dollarscentsgs. You can follow us on Facebook at Dollars and Cents. Listen to us on the podcast format at Dollars and Cents Podcast. And you can also find us on YouTube at the Dollars and Cents Podcast.